But if you were typical, we grew up in Edo State. Can a typical Edo woman do what you're doing?
I'm a typical Edo woman, a traditional Edo woman, but with a difference.
You're not feisty.
I wouldn't say that. I was brought into this discipline.
Welcome to the Edo Diaspora Talk Show, live from London, where we talk matters, Edo State and the Edo Diaspora. Today I have a very, very lovely woman. It took me a while to get her here. A long while. Mrs. Osawe, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you. Very, very good to see you.
I'm so delighted to be with you tonight. It's such a huge honor, especially when I get to talk about a subject I am passionate about.
Thank you, especially for me. But please introduce yourself to everybody, who you are. I know you as a darling, but you can tell the people your real name and where you're from.
Okay, I am Margaret Osawe. I'm the founder of Mini Sunshine's Child Care Services Limited, based in Southeast London.
London.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very proud of her. From Edo State, now we have a school here, a child care service, and I want to. You're good to have to see how you unlearn the things that we have learned growing up in Edo State to come and have a school here where you can teach new habits. Do you find yourself struggling with your old behavior and your new behavior?
Not necessarily, because of my dad. Yeah, my late dad was a teacher. My late dad was even one time your vice principal at Egba.
Egba Grammar School.
Yeah. So I grew up with him, going from place to place with him, such a strict disciplinarian. So I'm used to the educational system.
As a disciplinary.
Yeah.
But here, what do you, considering you have so much discipline, and the type of discipline we are used to is not the type that is allowed here. How did you manage to you know your father disciplinarian, when you say disciplinarian in Nigeria, is
physical.
It's physical. You understand?
Yeah.
How do you cope with that?
No, you just adjust accordingly. I mean, you have to listen to the system and obey what the system says.
And you didn't have a problem with transitioning from our ways to their ways?
It's a huge, it's a doubting process to learn, but you have to learn really fast because you can't afford to make mistakes.
No. In your years of being in the educational sector, and I don't know if you tell, but has anybody ever complained to you that, oh, she's too physical, oh, she's too like this, you know,
No, because I have to learn really quick. Our educational system back home is not so much different from the one we have here because of the colonialism.
Because of the colonialism,
yeah.
Yes.
So Nigerian system emulate the British system of education. So it's not so much different.
If I look at you, you have a cool nature about you. Is that what's helping you to navigate now that you're in the educational sector? Because if you were typical, we grew up in Edo State. Can a typical Edo woman do what you're doing?
I'm a typical Edo woman, a traditional Edo woman, but with a difference.
You're not feisty.
I wouldn't say that. I was brought into this discipline. I love the educational system. Growing up back home, my dad is such a man that even when they are doing some dance in the next building, we are not allowed to go.
Oh.
So I grew up with that.
Strictness.
Yes, our house is where yourself. CSR. You have to be strict to the rule or you face the consequence.
I wanted to have you here because something happened in the UK this week, and I felt you're the best person to talk to. There's a lecturer that came from Nigeria, and he teaches, and he teaches here in England. And no, he didn't teach in England. He was a lecturer in Nigeria. He came to England and started doing care work. He's been given 2 years prison sentence last week because he was working in a care home on a Saturday with a 17-year-old girl, and he couldn't help himself. He was molesting her left, right, and said, and he told her, he said, if you were a Nigerian girl, you would never complain about this.
But that is so wrong.
You see, so now you are from the educational sector, and you've seen the case with Natasha, and you've seen this lecturer in English. If you are praying, what are we learning in Nigeria as lecturers or anything? You know,
and he was even a lecturer back
he was a
then.
lecturer there.
Sorry for my language, what a buffon.
No,
He didn't learn. He didn't learn at all, because how can a lecturer come and make that kind of mistake?
What are we doing?
There's so much to be desired.
You don't want to. You're a woman. I don't want to tell you the details. I couldn't tell you. But if you see everywhere where they talk about him, it wasn't once, it wasn't twice, all in the same day. And he told the girl, he said, if you were a Nigerian girl, this is no problem.
That is even threatening her. That was so wrong of him.
So what have you taken from your profession of working in England and seeing all these standards and adjust? What would you say to the Nigerian educational system?
I think when people are prepared to come here to study, they should learn the system, they should know what we do here, and they should adjust accordingly.
You see that when you say learn the system, Nigeria University, I'm sorry, I won't say all lecturers, but this practice is not uncommon, you know, with Nigerian lecturers in the whole of Nigeria. Maybe not even university. It could have gone down to secondary school level. It could have gone down to another level. If you were going to instill some morality in the Nigerian educational system, where would you start? Because you had the experience.
Yes, they should just deviate from mixing pleasure with work. How can the lecturers, they're supposed to be second parent to the children, whether they're adults, and predominantly they are young adults. They are not big people. You should be like a second parent to them, you know, giving them good morals. It depends on their upbringing too, because people from an environment with high moral compass, they know what to do.
Yes.
They know where not to train, you know. How can you go for a 17-year-old?
Yeah.
That is legally not allowed.
The system of detriment to say this is what happens if you do this. How many tiers of that do you have in England? Say, okay, if the man taught here and he did that, would he not only go to prison? Would he not be able to practice as a teacher? Would he? What control measures do they use in your industry to ensure that this sort of thing doesn't happen?
Of course, when that happens, apart from going to prison, he will never be able to work again, because he's already seen as a danger to the educational system. They don't want that to happen at all.
He won't work. He won't be able to get a reference for another job.
No reference. Yeah. He won't be able to be DBS'd, because he will be classed in another category.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy you're here.
Yeah.
But back to your nursery. In this country, they don't allow, because you're a Benin woman, and I'm proud. I wish I could bring my children to your nursery. That's what we want to do. But is that sort of thing allowed in this country to say, I live in a different area, I want to bring my child to you because I know you?
Of course it's allowed, but it depends on you. Is it quick for you to come? Like, I serve my community. I serve my community. So people in close proximity, they'll be able to come to my childcare setting to bring their children. But I don't expect you living in
North London.
North London.
Yeah.
I don't expect you to drive all the way to Camberwell. No, it's just people in close proximity.
And your involvement in the Edo community in general, is it, are you more than most women? Does your job take you there, or you're into politics?
I'm not into politics, but I like for my country, especially for my Benin City, I like a good governor that will provide the facilities we have here for our people. And when I see any such governor, I like it, but I'm not a politician.
You're not. And currently, how are we doing? From the eyes of Margaret Osawe, do we have a good governor? Do we have a promising governor? What would you say to us?
I am still patient, but from the look of it looks like it's working.
Good.
But what I don't like is the demolition of properties.
Yes.
Because where I come from, those days in Benin, they call that awa. Agbikuyewo.
Yes.
Yeah, but if he's doing it with a purpose, so we just wait and see.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah.
And besides that, you've been impressed with the flyover. You've been impressed with other things, security measures is putting in place. Say if you keep up to what they're doing, those things. Do you like anything? Have you heard nice? They call it sound bites. Have you heard this?
Yeah, because I am in the WhatsApp group.
Yes.
I see a lot of things that is being done. I think so far it's done few things, but we're still waiting to see much more.
Well, it's nice to have you. I always say I've been waiting for you to come now. We have a door. We're coming later on in the show to talk about joining an Edo association here. I can find one to join. Do you belong to any associations here? Edo associations? Do you mingle with the community?
I don't mingle much.
You don't?
But because I went to College of Education back home, I went to university back home, so I have so many friends from all these institutions. So I don't belong to any club, but I've got friends. I've got friends everywhere.
Yeah.
And because all my parents, my dad, my mom, my grandparents, great-grandparents, well, as long as I know, they're all from Benin City.
Yeah.
So I'm a proper Benin girl. So I know people from.
If you have that sort of profile, do you say you don't need to join? If you have all these friends, then you don't need an association, even when you're millions of miles away from home.
Do I really need an association? I prefer this to an association. I like podcasts, webinar, talking about development, not really waking up early on a Saturday morning attending any association.
No.
That's not the way I'm inclined.
That's not. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Miss Margaret Osawe, and she's such a lovely woman, and she couldn't hurt a fly. You can see her yourself.
Is that what you think? Do you know me that much?
But yeah, if you just tell them where to find you, and if ever you're to join an association, the type you're looking for.
I like charity. Okay. You know, I give to charity, like a way of giving back.
Yeah.
But association, what do you mean? Attending progressive union?
Progressive union.
That is not me. No, I'm not so used to progressive union. But I don't mind charities. I can donate to charities, you know, but not attending progressive union. But I love anything culture, you know, because I'm proud of my heritage. Yeah.
Thank you.
So that is why I would say thank you to you because of the way you are projecting Benin people. Thank you very much.
Oh, very nice, very nice. I told you before, ladies and gentlemen, she's a special lady.
Thank you so much.
Good time. Thank you very much.
Notice abroad we did notice more things, notice more things, notice more. We see things every day.